Take a deep breath in and exhale. Close your eyes. Keep breathing deeply. See yourself going into a place that goes beyond the physical place you are at. It's a place that allow our souls to meet each other, acknowledge, nourish, celebrate each other. Call this place special, magical, sacred, blessed. Use the word that resonates with you the most. The important thing is that you keep in mind that this is your space, this is your meditation, and this is about your life. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, see yourself in the presence, surrounded by the entity that you value the most. God, the higher power, the Holy Spirit, the source, the universe, whatever it is perfect, even in the perceived imperfection that others have about your belief, or that you yourself have about your own belief. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, declare that it was a wise decision to step up into this space. Declare that by having done so, you gave yourself the gift for your mind to become stronger, more precise and sharper, for your spirit to become stronger as well, and for your heart to become more loving. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go the attachment to ask, how does that work? Will that work for me? Realize that indeed it is working for you. If you are having these thoughts, it's already working for you. Why do you believe you are undeserving? That such a method will not work for you if it's working for others. Whatever it is that is showing up to your mind or to your body, place it in front of you. You see? You even get the message probably before than others. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, declare that you are willing and able to make the most of this time, this space, and from your life. Declare that you are willing and able to receive your message for today. Totally grateful, because you are aware that whatever it is that shows up is coming all the way from the subconscious to the conscious, and for that you are willing to be grateful, aware that whatever it is that is showing up is giving you the precious gift of the opportunity to heal something that was buried in the subconscious. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, declare that you are willing and able to interview your message for today with curiosity and treat it as an ally. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let go any attachment to a specific way or form for the message. Keep in mind, the message could show up as a thought, memory, body sensation, particular emotion, something during your time in this space or after it. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Let go any attachment toward a specific message. Is that message an option? Could be. Could it be that what you are thinking will not happen is just a delay? Do you automatically believe that a delay is a denial because it didn't reach the dateline? Take a deep breath in and exhale. Are you keeping in mind that the universe is infinite? Infinity rules, infinity rules. Therefore, in a universe that is infinite, there are so many options for messages that could show up today. The question is, are you willing to keep being receptive to the possibility that even what you don't want to listen and shows up is what will allow you to learn, grow, and evolve the most? Take a deep breath in and exhale. And declare that from freedom you transform to what do you set a dateline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, observe which came first, a thought, a memory, body sensation, particular emotion. Any of that inspire you? Are you feeling compelled to share with me? You know what? Placing deadline is what have allowed me to be so successful at fill the blank. Is it possible that you are only considering one area of your life? Vocational is one area. Physical, financial, familial, social, mental, spiritual are others. Is it possible that due to your skills placing deadlines, due to your skill placing deadlines even for others, you are trying to do that in other areas of your life with other people, and when they don't respond as you wanted, you perceive it as a failure? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. How do you feel about setting deadline? Do you believe you need to do? Do you believe you have to set deadlines to everything? How do you feel when others place deadlines on you? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, look at your thought, your memories, your body sensation, if they are any of that is attached to your past, to your present circumstances, or to your future. Are you looking at a specific moment in your life that you perceive you didn't reach your deadline, and from that moment what? Fill the blank. Who do you believe you became? What others started to tell you that you were going to be able or not to achieve? Is it possible that still today, in the present circumstances, you avoid to set deadlines on fill the blank? Afraid that fill the blank. What are you afraid or concerned that it will repeat? What if today you choose to place a deadline for working on that perception, on working on healing that perception? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? Do you feel that you have power to set deadline? How do you react when you feel that you don't have the power to set deadline? When the deadline is placed on your life by someone else, your significant other, any acquaintance, anyone that you are doing business with, how do you feel when you are not the one who set the deadline? And if you perceive that you are so great at setting deadline, or if you perceive that you are so bad at setting deadlines, how are you interacting with others that you perceive are the exactly opposite? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? Look into your future. Which future are you looking at? One that you perceive is limited by all those events, or one specific event where you perceive that you didn't reach the deadline, or that you didn't place a deadline, or you did place a deadline but didn't happen as you thought it was going to happen. Is any of what you are looking at a repetition of your past or a repetition of your present circumstances? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, what if you consider the possibility to place a deadline to all those limiting beliefs? How would you love to set deadlines on your future in every area? Vocational, physical, financial, familial, mental, social, spiritual. Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? What if right now you choose to ask yourself, which is my objective when setting up a deadline? What is your objective when you are setting up a deadline? Do you believe that a deadline is a guidance to concentrate effort toward a specific date? How do you perceive your future results are around that deadline? If you wanted 10 of whatever for a specific date and you get 9.8, do you consider automatically that a failure? What if you put a deadline to start being grateful for your results? What if the challenge is for you to see the beauty in the ashes? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom, I transform to what do I set a deadline. From freedom, I transform to what do I set a deadline. Is it possible that you are constructing a future setting deadline for others? Because as you do it in your vocational area, you do it for others in other areas. Have you seen how challenging could be for you to get some deadlines done? And if you're thinking, I always get my deadline, is it possible that some family member share with you an important deadline, and since it is something that you don't have time for it, you don't get that deadline? Take a deep breath in and exhale anything that could be overwhelming. Keep in mind, this meditation is about expanding your sphere of awareness, expanding your sphere of consciousness, expanding, raising your level of alertness, and by being here, you are reaching that. Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. Could it be that you are pretending to setting deadlines to the feeling of others, to the decision of others in areas that are not the vocational area? And if you are placing deadlines on vocational area, could it be that you have closed yourself to listen to those in the field that could tell you that the deadline is unrealistic because of fill in the blank? Could it be that you are not reaching the results that you wanted so much because you closed yourself to the ideas or project, to those people that you perceive complain a lot about deadlines? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. Look into your future. Is it possible that would be very convenient for you to set a deadline to stop suffering from fill the blank? What do you perceive you have lost? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, observe, what are you thinking about me just because I suggest the mere possibility that you put a deadline to stop suffering from fill the blank? You're the one who knows. What if I told you to place a deadline to stop mourning? Do you believe I am a monster? How can you? Is it possible that you have this belief that if someone is a loved one die, for example, if you believe in death, if you believe in death and someone you perceive die, do you, is it possible that you believe that you have to suffer all the rest of your life? Are you concerned that if you choose to stop suffering from that and honor them in a new way, people will believe you're a monster? People will believe you didn't love them. People will believe, fill the blank. What are you concerned they believe about you? Are you aware that what others believe about you is not of your business and you can't put a deadline on that? They will believe whatever they want to believe. That doesn't matter if it's true or not. Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. What if right now you choose to look at your self-image? Which label have you placed on your self-image due to those moments that you perceive? You didn't set deadlines. You set deadlines, but fill the blank. Others set deadlines for you and you fill the blank. Whatever it is that happened, what if you choose to review which labels you embrace as yours? Which labels others told you that you, since that moment, you were going to be always fill the blank? They told you and you believe it. Is it possible that it is time to set a deadline for those limiting beliefs, those limiting labels on yourself? What if right now you choose to take all those labels away from your self-image and to review the future self, the one that you would love to manifest, and your current self? Which labels are you placing starting today? Which affirmations are you willing to start to place from now on? And declare that you are willing to adjust your perspective about who you are. And from a place of love, align with your future and the deadlines you set up. I adjust my perspective about who I am, and from a place of love, I align with myself and the deadlines I place. Take a deep breath and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline. Are you aware that in order for you to step up into new levels of service, profits, health, freedom, and greatness in whichever way you value the most, your willingness to review in what do you set deadlines or don't makes the difference in how you interact with others, in which opportunities you accept, in which opportunities you reject. Is it possible that some of your anguish, some of your stress is because you are trying to set up deadlines on others on how they should react, how they must react, how they were supposed to react? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? Is it possible that you are looking at a future that is already limited on your imagination due to your perception? What if if that is the case, you set a deadline to grow and evolve, to learn from those perceptions from the past or the present circumstances that lead you into belief that you can achieve only fill the blank, or that you will not be able to achieve fill the blank. What if you today set a deadline for starting to go for outstanding? I adjust my perspective about who I am. From now on, I am going for outstanding. I adjust my perspective about who I am, and from now on, I am going for outstanding. How does that look like for you? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? Does that mean that you have to set deadlines to everything? Does that mean that you shouldn't set deadlines? Never? Which interpretations are you giving? What are you listening right now? Because after all, are you aware that it is you the one taking the decisions? You are the one who places a deadline. You are the one who chooses to follow the deadline. Is it possible that when others place a deadline on you, you are not telling them your concerns about that deadline? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? Is it possible that some of those events that you perceive were failures? You set deadlines that you didn't want to set up? Which voices are you allowing you to dictate, to choose deadlines? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? From freedom I transform to what do I set a deadline? Is it possible that in some areas of your life you not never, but you avoid to set deadlines? Or maybe you perceive that you never set deadlines. Could that be a lie? Take a deep breathing. And exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. From now on, I am going for outstanding. I adjust my perspective about who I am. And from now on, I am going for outstanding. I adjust my perspective about what I can achieve. And from now on, I am going for outstanding. How does that look like for you? Take a deep breath in and exhale. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. From freedom I transform to what do I set a dateline. Blessings.